Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. Well, it's time for me to can carrots, but that's not what this video is about. Today, I need to make some seasoning. To tell you the truth, I've already made some seasoning, and my video cut out on all the processing, all of the ingredients that I added. I don't know what happened, but it showed me introducing what I was doing, and it showed it after everything was already in the bowl. And I noticed it then, finished the video out, and when I went to put it all together, all of this stuff that all of the video that I did adding ingredients to the bowl was gone. So I've got the product already made, but we're going to make another small jar of it so that you can see how it's done. And it's really simple and easy, but I felt like just saying this is my bowl of ingredients and here's what you add to it really wasn't fair for you guys. So I'm reshooting the video, and we'll make it all right. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see, hopefully this time, what goes into this onion soup mix, and explain to you why I like it. Okay everybody, let's get started. If you'll pardon the bowl that I've already used, this is the onion soup mix that I previously made to share with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. This is a half a cup of onion flakes, dried onion flakes. Okay, then you're going to need 3 tablespoons of beef bouillon. Now you can use the cubes, but you're going to have to grind them up. And I have cubes, but I'm going to use my powder. It makes life so much easier. And so that's 3 tablespoons. Then you're going to need a half a teaspoon of onion powder. Now this, a few videos ago, well, it's more than a few, I caramelized some onions in the crock pot, and then I put them on the dehydrator. Maybe you saw that video. So now what I've done is I ground this up in my spice grinder, and I'm going to use a half a teaspoon. Now remember, this is your home done, so it doesn't have any anti-caking agents in it. So, you know, you might have to mix it up a little bit. And this was done in that spice grinder. And there's a few bigger pieces of onion. And that doesn't bother me because this is going to rehydrate when you put it in the carrots, or when you put it in in with sour cream, if you're going to make like a French onion dip or something like that. And so it doesn't bother me to have a little piece of onion in there. And if it bothers you, then grind it down even smaller. Now, if you don't caramelize your onions, and that's fine if you don't. That's just an extra step that I like to do with some of my onions so that I have a deeper onion flavor. But if you don't caramelize it, it's not going to be this dark. Mine's this dark because of the caramelization. Okay, so that was half of a teaspoon. So the next thing I'm going to put in is 1 tablespoon of parsley flakes. These are store-bought, but you can most certainly grow your own. I just didn't grow any parsley this year. I just didn't get around to it. I want half of a teaspoon of garlic powder. Make sure you get your garlic powder and not garlic salt, because you will be able to tell in your recipe if you messed up and added garlic salt instead of garlic powder. So you need half of a teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay? And you're going to need half of a teaspoon of paprika. I love paprika. Now, this recipe I made by studying other people's recipes. This is not an original recipe. And I studied their recipes, and their recipes look wonderful. But they had ingredients in them that I chose not to put into mine. And that's one thing about making your own spice mixes. You can customize it to what you and your family like. One of the recipes called for celery seed, and Howie did not like celery seed. Blade doesn't like celery seed, and so I leave the celery seed out of the recipes. And so it's not going to hurt this at all to leave that out. It's just a matter of taste for my family. The last ingredient that I'm going to add is 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper, black pepper. Woohoo! I'm going to put some of that back in there because I overdid it. Okay. Black pepper is optional. The other ingredient that the recipe calls for is salt. I'm not going to add salt to my recipe. If you choose to, it's 1/2 teaspoon. I'm not going to add salt because I think that bullion is probably going to make it, pardon me, make it salty enough. And I am supposed to be watching my salt intake. So I'm going to leave the salt out of mine. But if you want to add it, by all means, it is your soup recipe. And if you want to add the salt, then by all means. Now, this is what it looks like. It looks pretty. It smells delicious. And we're just simply going to get it mixed together. I'm using a chopstick. You can use a spoon, a fork, whatever you want. And you just stir it up. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I get my hands in there and mix it because it just seems like it mixes best with that. And so you get it all mixed up. Now, the onion soup mix that you buy at the store is about 3 tablespoons. And so if you use that as an equivalent with this, if you were making a recipe and it said to use an envelope of that soup mix, then use about 3 tablespoons of that in your dip mix or whatever. Now, when you're canning your carrots, you're going to use about 1/2 tablespoon. I can't remember right off the bat, but when I can carrots, I'll show you how much I use in there. In this little thing so that you can see it. And that's what it looks like, all mixed up. You can see the bullion and the spices and the onion. There you have it. How to make onion soup mix that you can keep on your shelf and use to feed your family good, tasty, seasoned vegetables. Put it in you can put it in potatoes. You can put it in your roast when you have it in the crock pot to season it up. It's really good that way. Make a tasty dip for vegetables or for chips, either one. And feel good about what you're feeding your family. There's no, you know every ingredient that is in here. When you go to use it, you're probably going to have to, shake it up a little bit because there are no caking agents anti-caking agents in here. And so sometimes it will clump just a little bit, but just giving it a shake will break everything back up and get everything redistributed. If you use your coffee grinder to grind up your spices or your onions or peppers or anything, you might consider having 2 coffee grinders so that your coffee doesn't have an exotic taste in the morning when you go to make enjoy a cup. Might help you to wake up a little bit if you've used it to grind up some onions or some chili. You may be trying to figure out what in the world that is in your coffee. Okay guys, we've come to the end of another video. I hope you enjoyed what I brought to you today, that it's something that you can make for your own family and get put on your shelf so that when you need to season up your vegetables or make a tasty dip for vegetables or chips, you have something that you know what you made. You know what you put in it. You trust the ingredients, and it goes a long ways in helping to stretch our grocery budget, and we're looking well to the ways of our household. Hey, this is Josie. I love you guys, I really do. Until next time, we're gone.